All right, here we go. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 334 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Hello, world.
At work, I sometimes have to serve dinners. They have free site-wide dinners for the employees. You know, they cook up some kind of a giant meal for everyone, and the supervisors and managers serve. This is a tradition that dates back to ancient times. Last week, I had to do it 3 times. I had to do it for 3 different shifts. A, B, and C shifts. And actually I had to do D shift too, but that's only like 5 people. But anyway, so on this particular meal, we were doing, they did pulled pork, pulled chicken, various side items, and bag of chips, and a drink, and an ice cream bar. All right. That sounds delightful in the abstract. It sounds delightful. You know, and it probably was for the people on the receiving end. I, on the other hand, had to, 2 out of 3 times, I served 3 times. One time, I only did sandwiches, which was easy. You know, just like, you know, use some tongs, put some meat on a bun, hand it down to the next person. You know, that's easy. I can do that all day long. It's hot, though. It's hot back there. You know, you're under a heat lamp. There's all the food's under a heat lamp. It's hot. It's humid. But, you know, it's not that bad. The ice cream, on the other hand, a complete nightmare. I mean, I can't tell you how much it sucked. It was like, for one thing, there was a big giant tub of it. On the first night, which was Tuesday night, I was in charge of the chocolate, and another guy was in charge of the vanilla. And then on Thursday, it was flip-flopped. I was in charge of vanilla. So both times, the things were rock hard. I mean, like a block of granite. You just like scoop off I felt like I was going to tear a rotator cuff. I was going to get Tommy John surgery. You just like scoop off, and it's just like a little sliver will come off. It's like rock hard. I mean, and I was like, what in the hell? I mean, I was sweating. I mean, I couldn't even get it was a night. It sucked. It sucked so bad. So Tuesday night was terrible. Luckily, he had the vanilla. The other guy had the vanilla. That was, for some reason, and that's another thing that drives me nuts. Vanilla was far and away, not even in the same category, more popular than chocolate. And what kind of a person in their right mind, if you have 2 choices, vanilla and chocolate, who goes vanilla? I'll tell you who goes vanilla, 75% of the population. Like, what? Why? Why would you choose that? Vanilla over chocolate? I mean, and there's all these toppings you can put on it. I mean, I have no issue. If all they had was vanilla, I would take it, and I'd slather on some of that, that Hershey syrup. You know, I'd do that. But I don't know. If there's a choice between chocolate and vanilla, I would go chocolate every time. But not, I guess I'm in the minority on this deal. But anyway, so he was in charge of the vanilla on that first night. He had the worst end of the stick. We were both sweating. We were just like covered in sweat. I mean, it was like, I can't even describe how terrible it was. It just went on and on and on. It was like hours of scooping, just a line of people, standing there just with a look of expectation on their face. And we're back there like, oh God, just trying to get some ice cream out of this rock hard tub. It was just a solid column of ice cream. Stuff was just solid, And then the second night, Thursday, when I went back and did the next one, I said, I'm not doing that ice cream bullshit anymore. Somebody's going to have to do it. And they're like, no, you're doing it. I got steamrolled. I got bullied into doing it. So I said, all right, well, I'm taking this shit outside. I'm taking it out in the parking lot. I'm going to walk around with it for about 15 minutes, soften that shit up, I mean, I literally took the tub, and took it outside. It was, like, really hot out there. And I sat it on the picnic table for a while. I literally walked around the parking lot with it. I don't know why I have to do that. But, I got some pictures. There's some pictures that exist of me walking around with this, tub of vanilla ice cream. It helped a little bit, but it didn't help much. I mean, it was like semi melty around the edges, but the center was still just a column of granite. It was terrible. I was in charge of the vanilla that night, so it was even worse. I don't know. I need to go to some kind of school or something to figure out how to best deal with ice cream. Hopefully, I'll never have to deal with that again. But that sucked. The other guy was like, he was making fun of me. He was like, he goes, all these people probably like, eating their ice cream. And they're like, what is this, salted caramel in here? Because he said Jeff's just sweating straight into the ice cream tub. It's true. He wasn't doing much better. I don't know. Anyway. So that's the highlight of my life. That's pretty much the exciting thing happened. I don't really have anything else. I do have a bunch of calls that came in, though. I'm just going to power through those, if that's okay. The first one is from Zipp. This thing's old. I guess I missed it. That's on me. This goes back. But I just heard it for the first time today. Didn't realize it was in there. I apologize for that. But here it is.
Hey, Jeff K. This is Zipp. I'm calling in, and I know it's silly when I call in because I could always just record it and then edit it in. But anyway, the Reds swept the Astros this weekend, which was devastating for me. I'm sure that was wonderful for you. And today I saw they beat the Royals. I can't remember, but they won. And it said it was 11 wins in a row, which apparently is like the best string of victories y'all have had since 2012 or something. So, congratulations on that, because I know that it's been nothing but misery and despair for you. But I am jinxing you because I'm calling and I'm talking about it. And so you're going to play this, and hopefully after this episode drops, they're playing the Braves this weekend in a weekend series. They're going to lose. They're going to get swept. It's going to be complete opposite of... Anyway, I'm trying to jinx you because I'm very irritated. The Astros are sucking shit right now. And I know nobody gives two craps about that because everybody hates the Astros now. But anyway, and also here's a fun fact about the Reds. In the 1950s, because of the association with communism and the Red Scare, the Reds had to change their name because they're the fucking Reds. But they went by the Red Legs, which I guess was a reference to the socks or the pants or whatever. But it just seems silly because it's like you're still red. You're still got red right in the fucking name. But I guess the Reds are socks. Anyway, I'm babbling. So anyway, fuck the Reds. You're cool, but I'm mixed because I want my team to do well, but I want your team to not do good. Anyway, everybody keep listening.
Well, first of all, fuck the Reds. Is that what you said? How dare you, sir? How dare you to say such a blasphemous thing as that? You're talking about the Reds versus the Braves series. Yeah, the Reds lost 2 out of 3 of that. However, it was a hard-fought series. They lost, or every game was 1 run, and every game was super exciting. The Reds ended up on the wrong end of it 2 out of 3 games, and the manager of the Braves said something along the lines of, "We couldn't wait to get out of Cincinnati. We feel like we've been in a street fight." So at least I got a little bit of pleasure out of that. The Braves did take 2 out of 3. It's hard to beat the Braves. The Braves are freaking good. The Astros are good too. I don't know, the Reds were on a roll, and I don't know if you preemptively cursed them, but they came out of they lost 2 out of 3 to the Brewers going into the All-Star break, and then they got swept by the Brewers. So they played the Brewers before the All-Star break, and then they played them again after the All-Star break. Who makes these schedules? How does this happen? But I think you cursed them, Zipp. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think you have put the hoodoo on my beloved Reds. They're playing the Giants now. We'll see how that goes. But whatever, man. You know, I can't believe that you would say such a blasphemous thing. And that thing about the red legs, yeah, I think that was during the whole McCarthy, when those McCarthy hearings were going on, the Red Scare, you know, when he was holding was it Joseph McCarthy holding those hearings where he was like, you know, pulling people in from Hollywood and stuff like that. You know, are you or have you ever been a communist, that kind of stuff. I think it was during that era when everybody was whipped into a frenzy about the Reds. You know, that's what they called the communist. That's what they called the commies. The Reds. So the Reds were like, the Cincinnati Reds were like, I don't. It's like that candy, or like that weight loss candy. Back when I was a kid, there was this. It was like a piece of chocolate fudge, but it was like some kind of appetite suppressant. It was back in the 70s and into the 80s, but it was a popular thing. It was like a little piece of fudge that a person would eat, and it would suppress their appetite. Probably terrible for you. I mean, I don't know, people were probably, their aortas were probably blowing up, but it was a popular thing. I remember the brand name. Are you ready for this? It's called AIDS. So that, you know. It's one of those things where you have a cool name, everything's fine with it, and then suddenly there's something terrible happens, and suddenly it's like, oh shit, you know, I think we need to rethink this thing. So, you know, the Reds, you know, that was the name of the team, the Reds, and then suddenly the Reds means something completely different. The whole country is whipped up into a frenzy, so they changed their name to the Redlegs. I looked it up. They were the Redlegs, officially called the Cincinnati Redlegs, from 1953 to 1959. That was when the Red Scare was going on. When everybody had their, had their underground bunkers, their bomb shelters, you know, all that during that era. So, Cincinnati Redlegs. People still call them that, and you know, it's unfortunate, but it's not as bad as AIDS. Yeah, past the AIDS. You know, that's not good. It's terrible. All right. Anyway, despite the blasphemy, Zipp, I appreciate you calling in. This next call is from Wisey in T-Town. Here it is.
We built this city on rock and roll. Wisey in T-Town here, Jeff. Sorry to trigger you. I was just laughing at your grocery store story. I thought for sure you were going to say your worst job was selling meat door to door. To me, that's got to be the worst job, especially since you wrecked the vehicle on your last day. So to me, that Food Lion job must have really sucked. Anyhow, quick story. I told you that I worked at a grocery store too, and we would get back in the meat market, turn the lights off, and we could see throughout the store. People couldn't see us. And, you know, we're always trying to look for hot chicks, and one day there was a 14-year-old boy that came back there. We had the lights off, and he was standing by the steaks, and he looked from side to side, and we're like, holy shit, he's going to steal something. We're going to catch a shoplifter. So we're all kind of crowded up there, looks around, sticks his hand in his pants, and just goes to town on his balls. Just scratching. And we're so fucking shocked, we can't even say anything. We're just like, ugh. Then he pulls his hand out and smells his fingers, and we fucking lost it. We laughed so fucking hard. Everybody back there, and the kid just realized he'd been busted and ran out of the store. And we laughed for years and years over that. Still do. Worst job, working in the oil field. Terrible. I did that for a couple summers, junior, senior year. I worked on a single pole pulling unit. We would pull oil wells that weren't working. And I do that in the summer in Texas, hot as hell. And we would pull the rods out, and we'd have to break each rod and then go stack them. So when we put the wrenches on it and we would try and, you know, break it from the other rod, the oil and we pulled a lot of paraffin wells, which was waxy oil. So it would kind of stay on those rods if we pull them out of the hole. That shit would rain down on us, and we would be there in like 114 degrees with this just covered in black, and the sun's beating down on us, and we'd have hard hats on, and we'd just be looking at each other like zombies, because we were zombies. hot as hell. One time I had to crawl under the rig just to keep from passing out. I was so fucking hot. And go home just covered in oil and wax and try cleaning those clothes. Anyhow, Jeff, keep up the good work, buddy. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, we built this city. That caused me physical pain. But yeah, the selling meat door to door. I'm sure I've talked about that on here. I don't know if it's been. It's been a long time. I think I did. That was only for like 2 weeks, so that was a short-lived. It was a tightly compacted, terrible job, but it didn't stretch out like that Food Lion job that I was talking about. It didn't stretch out like that. That thing was. I don't know how long I was working at Food Lion. It feels like a lifetime. It's probably like a year or maybe a year and a half, somewhere in that neighborhood. The selling meat door to door, that was a tightly compacted 2 weeks of pure hell. That was a terrible time of my life. I was like, I don't know. I was dropping out of college. I dropped out of college the second time. First time, West Virginia State. That was right after high school. My heart was not in it, you know. I mean, it just felt like I had to go to college, so I went to West Virginia State, which is like near our house, you know. It was like 13th grade. We just went over there. It was like some of us, you know, some of my friends, we went over there and just half-assed it, you know. I had some fun with Rocky. Rocky went there. We had a filmmaking class. That was fun. You know, there was some good stuff that came out of that. Overall, I was half-assing it. And then I took some, you know, I dropped out. And then I went back and I went to Marshall University, which was in Huntington. And I was actually doing well, and I was enjoying it. Everything was fun. Everything was fine. And then I broke up. My girlfriend and I broke up. My girlfriend at the time, Kelly, we'd been together forever. You know, we broke up, and I went spiraling down, down, down. I was a mess. I was a disaster, you know. And I ended up quitting that fast check job. I just quit. I didn't even give them any notice or anything. I just went in there and said, I'm not working anymore. Gave them I had a key to the store. Can you imagine? I can't. When I think back on that, like, they gave me at that age. You talk about a dumbass. I mean, you talk about the height of dumbassery. I'm the poster child of it back in those days. I had a key to the store. God. I turned in my key. I said, I'm not coming back. Fuck this. You know, I'm not doing this anymore. So I was like, I was a mess. I felt like I was in the depths of depression. Took this job selling meat. Well, I answered an ad. It was like very vague. I went over there, and it was like this fast-talking guy. I think he was an Eastern European. I don't know. He was like, he had a weird accent, and he was menacing. He was a scary guy. I don't know what his deal was. He ran this shady-ass thing. One of those deals where they have these trucks, and they have a freezer on the back of them. You see them around. I still see them. They're around. They're out there selling meat and seafood. We sold meat and seafood. It was high quality stuff. It wasn't, there's nothing wrong with the product. But it was, the whole thing was set up on a lie, First of all, you're supposed to, they teach you you just go door to door. You just knock on doors and you say, hey, I'm a delivery guy. I'm delivering some meat and seafood down the store nearby here. And these idiots over at the warehouse, they double stocked my cooler, and I have to get rid of this stuff. I can't take this stuff back. These guys are going to get fired. This is what you're supposed to say. It's like a total lie. You're supposed to, the thing's all built on a lie. I can give you a good deal on some stuff. This is some high quality stuff. That's what you're supposed to do. And you're supposed to go and you're supposed to sell this stuff door to door and just cold calling people, and you're supposed, and there's an X number of cases a day, and stuff's expensive. X number of cases a day that you have to sell, So they sent me out with some guy, and he was showing me the ropes, and he had a few repeat customers. Like, that's the best situation. You get some customers that, are going to buy off you. You don't have to sell it to them. You can just stop by and take an order off of them. That kind of thing. But most of all, it's just knocking on doors. You just go into a neighborhood and you just knock on doors and try to fool somebody into buying some expensive ass box of meat. And I was not good at it. It was terrible. I was depressed. I mean, everything sucked, And if you didn't sell, oh, by the way, if you didn't sell, you had a quota. Like each day, you had to sell. I don't remember what it was. You had to sell 5 cases or something, or 3. I don't remember. I think it escalated the longer you were there. Like they kept raising it, but I think it was at 3. I think I had to sell 3 cases a day, right? And if you didn't, you had to buy. Like if you only sold 2 cases one day, you had to buy a case to make up for it. So the cheapest thing they sold was onion rings. I think they were like $15 a case. And they were like big. It was like a big box of onion rings. So every time that I didn't make my quota, which was almost every day because I was terrible at it, I'd have to buy onion rings. And our freezer, we had two freezers full of these things. I had to take them across the street to my grandmother's house. We had just like onion rings. And my mom was like, "What are we going to do? What are we doing with all these onion rings?" She was like freaking out about it. We don't need any more onion rings. Like it sucked. I mean, one day I went in there and I went out on my own. I went out there and sold my quota. Super excited. I was like, that was a pretty good day. Made a little bit of money, sold my quota. I thought, this is probably going to work out. I go back in there and some guy goes, one of the other workers goes, "Hey, did you sell, were you up there at blah, blah, blah?" I don't know. He gave some area. I don't know. I don't remember where it was. I said, yeah, I did pretty well. He goes, "That's my area." I said, "What do you mean it's your area?" He goes, "No, man, you can't be selling to my customers, all this stuff." He's like getting really aggressive with me. And he went to that Eastern European. He goes, "Pay him. That's his area." I said, "What the hell's this?" And then we'd have these meetings in the morning before we went out, and the guy was abusive. He would like make fun of us, and he was like making fun of the way I was dressed or something. He was like, "You're supposed to be a warehouse worker. You don't come in here with your fancy shirt on and your what are you like dressed up for like some kind of a garden party or something?" I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? A garden party? I don't even know what that is." It sucked. And then I crashed my car, like you said. I crashed my little meat wagon into the side of a Corvette or something, or a Trans Am or something, in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It was my final day. I was like despondent, depressed. I was about ready to fling myself off a bridge. And I was in Parkersburg. Everything was going down. Like, what has happened to me? Look at me. I'm selling meat. I'm selling meat door to door in some kind of rolling meat wagon. And my relationship, my girlfriend, she didn't want to be with me anymore. I have nothing going. I'm a 2-time dropout, college dropout. I got nothing going on. Everything sucks, And so I'm changing lanes, driving in Parkersburg, and right into the side. I didn't even look in the mirror. I mean, I was like mirrors are for people who are successful. I don't deserve to use mirrors, So I changed lanes right into just right into the side of this. I don't know, it was a Trans Am or something, some kind of sports car. Some redneck girl. It was a girl. She jumped out. "What are you doing?" I said, "It's all my fault." I'm in no. I would have signed any kind of like. I would have confessed to a murder. I was destroyed. I would. You could have. And I was like, "Well, it's all my fault." I'm sorry. So, and then she kind of backed down a little bit. She came out of that car hot, man. I crashed right into the side of her. It was like a beautiful. If you're into redneck cars, but it was like if it was like all. She said she was going to a parade. She was going to be in a parade. The thing was all waxed, and I just rammed my meat wagon straight into the side of that thing. I called the guy, that Eastern European. I said, I'm done. He goes, you owe me money. You crashed our meat wagon. I said, well, sue me, bitch. I don't care. You can do whatever you want. Pack it. He goes, you're playing with fire here. I said, whatever. So I never heard from him again. But that was the worst. That was a tightly compacted, terrible 2 weeks of my life. The Food Lion job, that was stretched over a long period of time. That's why I chose that as the worst job. But you're right, the selling meat door to door sucks. I like your story about the kid smelling his ball hands. That is disgusting, grotesque, and hilarious. And that oil fields job, that sounds horrendous. What the part that sounds horrendous is I hate heat. I'm not into heat. Like right now, it is so frickin' humid. It's disgusting. It makes me sick. And so I don't. That's not me. That's 180 degrees out of what I hate that. And then being covered in sticky like oil and stuff sounds like pure hell. That sounds like walking hell. I don't envy you that crap. That's worse, way worse than my stupid Food Lion job, where I couldn't get a handle on the bleach. You one-upped me on that one, Wisey, but it sounds terrible. And yeah, so thanks for calling. I appreciate your call. Call back anytime. And this last call is from our old buddy Ian in Scotland, and here it is.
Hey Jeff, it's Ian in Scotland. Currently driving across the Tay Road Bridge, which you'll have seen if you're keeping up to date with Succession. It is raining heavily. Windscreen wipers on burnout setting just now. And the weather here in this global heat wave is currently sitting at 14 degrees Celsius. Crazy. Got a jumper on. I've got a sweater on. Anyway, so this week, Jeff, I've been officiating, I've been refereeing at the Karate World Cup in Dundee. I've been doing karate now for about 25 years with third dan black belt. I've been keeping that quiet for obvious reasons. You get asked a lot of stupid questions when you reveal this information. Not from you, obviously, but other people. So yeah, I wanted to ask you if you were ever involved in any sports other than watching baseball, like actively involved in any other sports. Hope all is well with you, and I'll listen to you soon, hopefully. Okay, bye.
Okay, I had to look this up. You said it's 14 degrees Celsius. That's 57 over here. So yeah, it's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I wish it was that temperature here where I'm at, but it's not. It's hot and it's humid and it sucks. So I am jealous of you, Ian, for your 57. You're a karate. You're like you said you're a third degree black belt or something. Man, I had no idea. You said you kept it quiet. That's cool. And you're a referee, and that's pretty awesome, man. The surprises from you never end. Where are you going? You said you were going back to school for chemical engineering or something. I can't remember. Something impressive. Something that's beyond me. That's pretty awesome. You asked me if I ever played sports. Actually played sports. Not really. I'm not super athletic. However, I did play Little League. I played baseball up through Little League. And I was on a team called, you ready for this? Dentists. It's hard to say that. The Little League teams are sponsored by usually businesses. But this team that I was on, and when I was in Little League, was sponsored by the all the dentists in town. They go together and they would sponsor a team. Dentists. God, it's hard to say that. Too many S's. It's too close together. But we were a great team. We were a really good team. We were a strong team. I started at either first base or third base, and I don't know how I was I was a really good fielder. I was I would say above average fielder, not a good batter. My hitting was terrible. Because one of the problems was I'd get up to bat, and the stands would be full of parents and kids from my school, like other kids that weren't playing. I mean, it would draw big crowds, especially when dentists were playing. We were like the 27 Yankees, and we would play, and all eyes would be on me, and I don't do well under those circumstances. So I'd get up there and freeze. Terrible batter, and then in practice, I'm hitting line drives and stuff. And they're like, "How come you can't do this in a game?" Like, because there's nobody in the stands. I don't know. I'm a neurotic. I can't. Even back then, I was way worse than I am now. I'm still neurotic, but I don't like all eyes on me. When I'm in the field and a ball comes to me, I don't have time to think about it. I just react. There was this one game. I don't want to get too. This is probably the height. This is my Al Bundy moment. My little league experience. I was playing third, and who were we playing? Classic Shoe Store. I think we were playing Classic Shoe Store. And I was playing third base. It was a big rival. Both teams were really good. The stands were packed, and I don't remember the circumstances. It feels like the score was tied and it was really close. And there was this player for Classic. His name was G.G. Jenkins. G.G. Jenkins, right? I don't know how I remember these things. But he hits this ball. He's a big dude. Hits this ball into the right field corner. I'm playing third. He goes tearing around the bases like frickin', like he's Fernando Tatis Jr. And he rounds first, goes to second, and I assume he's just going to, cruise into second and take the double. No, he runs right through second, heading towards third. It's like a freight train coming towards me, and the ball's finally back into the infield. The shortstop, Danny Bailey, has the ball. I'm at third. This big old G.G. Jenkins freight train running straight towards me. And Danny Bailey throws the ball sidearm to me. The ball, I'm basically watching the ball with my left eye and watching Gigi with my right eye, and they're both arriving exactly the same time. And I catch the ball at the same time as he plows into me. I mean, it's like a football move. He just hits me, he goes airborne and just hits me like the middle of my, halfway up my body, and we go rolling in a big cloud of dust and, basically almost up against the wall of the dugout, he knocks me all the way over, blasts me, just full steam, and we're rolling in the dirt and everything. And like something out of a TV show, I hold the ball up just to demonstrate that I held onto the ball. I caught the ball and I held onto it, and the umpire called him out. Place went crazy. The guy was thrown out at third base, and somehow I held onto the ball. That's my big moment in Little League sports. Or sports in general. But in general, I was not a very good athlete. In fact, I was probably poor. I mean, when we were in school and stuff, you have to climb that rope and all that shit. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do any of that stuff. Probably, I wasn't very good at it. I loved baseball, and I got to the point where I could field pretty well because of hours and hours and hours of throwing a ball against a wall and catching. I'd go down to this Napa Auto Parts, and after they were closed and stuff, and just throw like a tennis ball against the building and just field it and throw it back. And, I did that for hours and hours and hours every summer, to the point where I was actually pretty good in the field. But I couldn't bat very well, like I said, because, I don't like to be center of attention. Still don't to this day. And anyway, that's pretty much all I did as far as sports goes. I never got into any kind of like martial arts or anything. But I think that's pretty cool. You should be proud of that. And I'm sure you are. And I appreciate the call. Thank you guys. Thank all of you guys for calling in. Zipp, Wisey, and Ian. Always appreciated. So give us a call. If you want to call in like those guys, give us a call. 570-290-8151 is the number. Call round the clock, 24 hours a day. It's voicemail. And you'll almost certainly be part of a future show, so do it today. Also, if you want 2 of these episodes a week instead of a measly one, you can do that too. Head on over to patreon.com. That's Patreon, patreon.com/JeffK. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. So if you want to double down on these podcasts, it's a big help to me, and you get an extra episode every week. So do it today. Patreon.com/JeffK. And I think that's it. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. And until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side, you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see ya.